Herkese merhaba, isim Matthias. Ashoka Avrupa'da çalışıyorum. 2012'den beri Ashoka Türkiye direktörüyüm. Ashoka dünyanın en eski ve en büyük sosyal girişimcilik ağı. Biz 80 ülkede 3000 sosyal girişimcilere destek veriyoruz. Size küçük bir konuşma hazırladım bugün. Sosyal girişimcilik nedir hakkında konuşmak istiyorum. Ama üzgünüm, İngilizce biraz daha rahatım. Problem yoksa İngilizce konuşmaya devam etmek istiyorum. Problem? Yok. Tamam, teşekkür ederim. I want to start my talk with a story. And the story is about this man, Torkild Sonne. He is a social entrepreneur from Denmark, and he was elected an Ashoka Fellow in 2009 for his work that I would like to tell you a little bit about. This is Torkild Sonne's son, and he was about 6 or 7 years old when one afternoon in Denmark, Torkild's son was sitting on the kitchen table, and he had a white piece of paper and a pen, nothing else. Kitchen table, white paper, and a pen. And he was drawing something, and Torkild was wondering, what is my son drawing? He was drawing this. Have a close look. There's squares, there's numbers, there's some signs here. And Torkild was like, why is my 7-year-old son drawing something like this? All these numbers and boxes. Bu ne? He didn't understand. And then he remembered something. And he left the kitchen, Torkild. He went to his car. He opened the door of his car and he took out the car map of Europe, where you can find roads, countries, where you can go. If you go on holiday in Europe, you have this map and you can watch, where do I drive? This was before iPhone and navigation system. And he opens the first page of that map and he sees this. Remember, his son is on the kitchen table and he's in the car with this map. This is the first page of the Europe car map. It has all the countries, all the streets and everything. He takes that book inside the house and puts it next to the paper, this one, and it fits 100%. Each of these numbers, all of those signs, all of the boxes, they're exactly the same. 100%. It's like a miracle. Torkild couldn't believe it. The story I'm trying to tell here today is that sometimes it looks like someone has a weakness, but it can be an amazing strength. Because Torkild Sonne's son has autism, which is considered a disability in this world. We think of autism as something that makes you weak. You will not be successful in life with autism. How will you ever have a job? What will we do with kids with autism? We put them in special care. We leave them at home, we put them in special schools. Maybe they are much more intelligent than we are, and we don't even know. There's one thing, and it's not with all people with autism, but with some of them, they have a very, very, very special talent. They can focus like none of us can on details. They can remember 50,000 numbers put behind. They can tell you, number 22,350 is 5, and things like that. So what Torkild Sonne did, the Ashoka Fellow, he established an organization called Specialistern, the specialists. And he is training people with autism around the world. It started in Denmark, now it's active in 10 countries. He is training people with autism to work as specialists in technology companies. They can program, they can find mistakes in the code, they can count like no one else, they can see mistakes. If you put them in front of them a sheet with with 50,000 zeros, sifir. They can find the one in that sheet. There's one number which is not zero, it's one. They see it in a second. They are very special talents. And he's placing them in jobs to work as specialists. So he's making a weakness a strength. He is changing the way that the world looks at disabilities. He's changing our thinking, our way of acting. He's changing how we employ people. He is a social entrepreneur. He's re-engineering the way that the world works in his field. I'm not saying he's changing the entire world, but in his field. Ashoka was founded 32 years ago with the idea, a very simple and in my eyes very powerful idea, with the very simple idea that what if we could find people like Torkil in Denmark, what if we could find these people and give them everything that they need to grow their ideas? Money, support, law, media, public relations, marketing, financing, networks, everything that they need. And this is what Ashoka is. We are the largest support network of social entrepreneurs around the world. We have 27 Ashoka Fellows in Turkey. You might know some of them. And Tülin Akyan is with us here today. She was elected to the fellowship last year. So you're the latest addition to this network. İbrahim Betil, founder of Toplum Gönülleri Vakfı, Şengül Akçar, KEDEF'ten, Nasum Aruki Akut'tan, Mustafa Sarı Van'dan, amazing people that are really changing the way that some of the things work. There was no search and rescue independent organization in Turkey before the 1999 Marmara earthquake. And Nasu and his friends founded this organization, which is now the most trusted organization in Turkey for the last 10 years. Imagine. Out of nothing. He was a university student when he started climbing and everything. He's not a hero. He's a social entrepreneur. He made that decision. I want to change something. We also work with young social entrepreneurs. We created here in Istanbul a program called the Changemaker Exchange, where we bring together 40 young social entrepreneurs from 8 different countries here in Istanbul to really spread ideas, connect with each other, talk to each other, etc. I want to spend 10 minutes or so on trying, I will try. I'm not saying that I will succeed, but I will try to share with you my opinion on what social entrepreneurship really is, because there's a lot of confusion, many people use it in a different way, and that is okay. This is Matthias' version of social entrepreneurship. We all know this guy, Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, considerably one of the greatest business entrepreneurs of the 20th and the 21st century, and he created something which changed the economy of the world. He created the iPhone, a smartphone that allows you to access the internet instantly, that allows you to share things, that allows you to have your life in your pocket at any point. How many smartphones, not iPhones, how many smartphones in the room? %80% of the people have one. How many of you have more than 5 apps, applications? Angry Birds, WhatsApp, more than 5. Again, 80%. More than 10? Again, 40%. More than 20? Me? Okay, let's stop here, otherwise yeah. I'm showing you that I'm an addict, you know. 250 apps. Imagine, every single app is a business. Instagram and all of these things, they didn't exist before the smartphone. How would you use Instagram with your Nokia 20 years ago? You cannot. And it was sold for $1 billion to Facebook a while ago. So because Steve Jobs made the smartphone popular, a whole industry existed around it. Apps and music and downloads and sharing and communication, and he created an entire industry around it. And if you had, I wish I had, if you had bought in 1980 one share of Apple, it was $22, and now this is of Tuesday last week, $426. So it's quite obvious. There's economic growth, there's business success, there's a whole ecosystem of things around the smartphone that he created. What about that? Does anyone know who that is? Can anyone tell me who it is? You were waving your hand? No. This is Florence Nightingale. And believe it or not, but before the time of Florence Nightingale, there was no such thing as nurses. If you go to a hospital today, you get surgery by a doctor, and everything that follows and that came before is done by nurses. They take care of you. So 200 years ago, when you went into a hospital, they cut your leg or they took out your teeth, and then you went to bed and you lie there. And then an infection might have killed you, or you got sick, no one took care of you. It was terrible. And Florence Nightingale was inventing the modern system of nursing. She's the mother of nurses. And there is today 20 million nurses around the world. You know, what is the difference to Steve Jobs? Well, I would say the difference is not that big. The only difference is that with Apple, you make money. It's a business. What do you use here? I didn't put any money here. Shall we look at the lives saved? It's probably millions. Millions and millions and millions of people did not die because they had a nurse who took care of them. But what I'm trying to tell here is, let us understand what social entrepreneurs really do. They have such a good idea that the whole world around that idea changes. She invented nursing during the Crim War, and then it spread from there to the UK, France, Germany, to the US. It went everywhere, and today it's normal. It's normal to have a smartphone in your pocket, and it's normal to have a nurse in your house. That is the real power of social entrepreneurship. Something that didn't exist becomes the new norm, becomes so good that you can't resist anymore. Another quick example from Turkey, Bedriye Hülya. She is the founder of BeFit. BeFit is a women-only gym center that gives women in Turkey access to physical activity. They can go there, and for very cheap money, they can do physical activity. Did you know that only 5% of spaces, sports clubs, billiard clubs, game clubs, only 5% of them in Turkey allow women to access? They don't know where to go for physical activity. And in only 5.5 years, 5 yıl, 50 değil, 5 yıl, 150,000 members around Turkey are using BeFit to exercise. How do you measure that? You know, there's no stocks that you can buy. There's no money that you can make millions of money with that. But imagine what it does. 150,000 people that learn how to appreciate their body, that work out, that are more healthy, that connect with each other. It's incredible. So sometimes social entrepreneurship is referred to as business and management skills and how they can be applied to achieve social ends. How can I be so professional and solve a social problem? How can I use marketing to solve a social problem? I think that's only half the story. What we really think is social entrepreneurship is it's a transformative force. Türkçe ne demek, Timur? Something like that. Exactly. We, and I think a lot of the people that work in the field of social entrepreneurship do the same. We look at impact. What is changing? How many women do you, how many lives of women do you improve? How many people did the nurses of this world save? How many credits did Muhammad Yunus give to people all around the world? By the way, it's more than 100 million people that benefited from Muhammad Yunus' Grameen Bank. These kind of things we're looking at. I don't care how you achieve that goal, if it's through being very professional or something. That doesn't matter. You think that Florence Nightingale had a business background, that she did an MBA? No. She wanted to change something. She was creative, passionate. She was energetic. She could convince people. She created something. She was an entrepreneur. Timur showed almost the same slide. In my opinion, we should not fight anymore about, is only an NGO a social entrepreneur? Is only a business a social entrepreneur? No. A social entrepreneur can use all of these. For-profit company, socially responsible company, a social business, a non-profit, or a traditional non-profit organization. All those can be social entrepreneurial. So it's almost the last theory slide, but I think it's really interesting to reflect. An entrepreneur is not someone who simply opens a business. Dönerci, simitçi. They're businessmen. They're really, really good businessmen, especially in Istanbul. They're fantastic. But they might not be an entrepreneur. You don't create a whole different industry with simit. Maybe Simit Sarayı. He was the first one who said, why do we buy simit on the street? Let's come people in a store and sell them chai and other things, and börek and orange juice. He's an entrepreneur. He made one simit that you buy on the street. It's the cell phone. He turned it into a smartphone. Smart simitçi. Yeah. So an entrepreneur is someone, I'm here, who shifts economic resources out of an area of lower and into an area of higher productivity. One simitçi selling 50 simit, Simit Sarayı, one entrepreneur selling 50,000 simit. A social entrepreneur, it's almost the same. Someone who changes the performance capacity of society. I love that definition. We are training or giving people with autism the opportunity to be productive members of society. That really changes the performance capacity of the society. What business entrepreneurs are to the economy, social entrepreneurs are to social change. And if you have not yet, then if I could only give you one advice today, one message that you take away is read this book, How to Change the World by David Bornstein, a New York Times journalist who traveled with Bill Drayton, the founder of Ashoka, and many other social entrepreneurs around the world, and wrote, in my opinion, the best book on social entrepreneurship. Okay. So, social entrepreneurs, they are everywhere in our life, in our societies, in our cities, in our economies, in our schools. Look for them, get engaged, find out what they do. It's just a wonderful field, a wonderful world out there with a lot of new ideas. And I want to share, not me, but a very special guy again, we want to share with all of you one last message, and then my presentation will be over. So this is the last message of this presentation. Ses var mı acaba? Yeah. Yok mu? Sorry? Okay. It's over, but Okay, we share this message with you later. I don't know how to search for it. It's okay. Please stay in touch with me if you would like to. I reply very fast on Twitter. If you want to get in touch, if you have questions, if you want to get involved in the work that we do or that the Ashoka Fellows do or that all the other wonderful organizations do, I'd be really happy to help. It's my job. And this is my Twitter, Global Damu. And well, I hope that some of the messages I could give today were interesting to you. And have fun with the other speakers. I know there's some great people coming up. Teşekkür ederim. İyi günler.